What's up, you guys? Welcome back to WIDEBODY Nation. The Charger is done, and I've got lessons learned for you guys if you're gonna get your car wrapped, paint protection film, ceramic coated. All that will be in this video, on top of obviously checking out the handiwork from That's a Wrap here in Columbus, Georgia. In this video, we're gonna mainly talk about pros and cons of wraps, pros and cons of PPF, paint protection film, and basically the lessons learned, what I did well here and what I did not do so well as far as what I got on my HELLCAT Charger Redeye here in Columbus, Georgia. We did, well, I'll get to that in a second. So, the shirt I'm wearing right now, if you guys aren't tracking, the EPA is cracking down big time on small tuners, businesses, anything in the car community. They are cracking down way too hard with no common sense and no regard for the $2 billion industry that is our passion and a lot of people's livelihood. So we have these shirts available to you guys at the link down below, in the pinned comment, and in the description. And I owe you guys an entire video on my opinion and the facts of that situation. If you are not subscribed, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We're very close to 5,000 subs, at which time we are giving away those Apple AirPods Pro on a live stream. This wrap is about 90% complete. However, we obviously still need to add the badges back, maybe. And then also, you know, Brian over at That's a Wrap is also gonna make sure everything settles in nice, because we're hunting down a couple days of sun here in Columbus, Georgia, because that sun really bakes in the wrap. It really seals in the flavor, if you will. Now, let's go over my first mistake, okay? First mistake, getting a white car and then wrapping it a dark color, okay? The white shines through everywhere, which is a nightmare for the people wrapping your car. Now, you know, the professionals that they are, they do their best job to hide it, so they go pretty deep into the seams. But there are some places, even if you disassemble your car almost all the way, that they can't get. So we're gonna work to hide areas like this in that last 10% when we do the touch up, when the seams are down. I mean, we had this car totally disassembled. And by we, I mean them, because I really didn't help that much other than kind of the brainstorming aspect of it. So if you guys wanna have like the inside scoop on these things, Instagram has, my Instagram, Real WIDEBODY Nation, has over 20 photos of this car in various states of the wrap, when they broke it down, when they started wrapping the wide body kit. If you guys want to know what these cars look like with the wide body kit off of them and how the wide body kit is affixed to the car, check out our Instagram page. Now, I didn't really mess up because I love the white, love the black wheels, love the red interior, which you guys can see right there. But just keep in mind that if you guys are going to be getting a car that is a light color and then doing a wrap that is very different in color, it might show through. Even if your wrap guy or girl is perfect and touches this up later in the game, you're still going to have, like when your wrap wear and tears, if it gets ripped, nicked, anything like that, whatever paint is underneath is gonna show through. So just keep that in mind. If you're definitely gonna get the car wrapped, I would suggest a darker color like black, gray, black, and that's pretty much it. Because as you guys will see, the C8 is already at the wrap shop, and the C8 will look a lot cleaner with a lot less attention to detail due to the color. Now the C8, as you guys know, has jagged edges, it's got Lambo features, it's got Ferrari features, sometimes it looks like McLaren. So it has its own problems, which we will talk about when the C8 is done. But just be mindful of that. So what wrap did I actually go with? This is the 3M brand 2080. That is the actual like line of wraps, 2080, or line of vinyl 2080. We have the dark satin gray and we have the satin black. Now these may look matte to you guys on camera, but there is a very specific difference on why we and many wrap shops will recommend you guys go satin and not matte, because satin gives you a nice sheen, a nice flat sheen, kind of like that metal look, but it's not so porous and not so dark that it will absorb, for instance, the pollen. Right now I have not cleaned this car because Bryant, the wrapper, not like a music rapper, like he's the one who wrapped the car, he wants the vinyl to really sit down, and if I spray it with pressure washer or just the hose, that is going to compromise that. So I apologize that the car is not perfectly clean, but is a good way to show how matte would be soaking up this pollen, soaking up the water spots much more than this satin is. Like, I can just wipe this stuff right off and it goes away. I wouldn't even have to actually really wash the car. Now, as far as the actual color goes, I got a lot of flack from people online and from even the wrap shop. They were like, okay, you don't want to go with like a cool, crazy color to really show off the body lines. They were all worried that the gray was just going to make it into one little blob, one little egg, one little vanilla bean. But I stuck with my guns, went with the Destroyer Gray version of 3M's wrap, and I think it turned out pretty much a 10 out of 10. It's not Sundays, so it's not twice on Sundays, but 10 out of 10 in my opinion. We went with the black roof, black trunk, and spoiler. We did go ahead and just go gray with the hood because, in my opinion, the Redeye hood with their redesign with the bigger bulge, bigger inlet that goes, it's functional, actually goes right into the air intake that is very meaty, and the two heat extractors that you can see right in to that white engine bay, and then you can even peek at the engine right there. With this functional hood being such an update and such a piece de resistance, I did not want to black it out and turn it into basically just one black void. However, we did do some black accents, some black inlays, if you will. We did this mail slot right here. We tried to accent it a little more with an inlay here of the satin black. We also did inlays down there to make just make everything pop a little harder. Did a little bit of inlay here, inlays here, and inlays there, just to make everything kind of pop a little bit. Now, like I said, there's little areas that need to sit down. We're getting a little bit of sun today, but it's been rainy. We also did some inlays back here to kind of make this look jagged back here. Definitely looks good. And obviously we did the spoiler as well. We still need to put the mud flaps back on that come from the factory. There are some small mud flaps that come here. Badges need to be put back on, but I'm very happy with how the color turned out, and the C8 matching this when we're rolling down the highway to the YouTuber call out on April 10th of 2021. I think that will look pretty hard. Now, what do you guys think about gold wheels on the gray wrap? I'll have to, if you're following us on Instagram, you can see how the C8 already kind of looks when it's disassembled and it's got a few panels wrapped. All right. So overall, I think I did all right with the wrap choice. Now, pricing, and we're gonna compare it to actually just doing like paint protection film or ceramic coating. I'm a big fan of actually putting a physical barrier of plastic, vinyl, something between your car's paint and actual rocks. Because even if I ceramic coat the car, if it's a big enough rock, it's just gonna send it right into the bumper and go right through that ceramic coat and chip the paint, scratch the paint, whatever it may be. And I'm used to Subaru paint, growing up with Subarus and Toyotas, super thin, environmentally friendly paint that really just chips at the slightest thought of a dump truck. Even if you just say, hey, Subaru dump truck, it's just like, oh, and then all the paint chips off. So I am a big fan of putting something, a physical barrier. Now, one way to do it is to get your car wrapped. Another way to do it is to do the Expel, or whatever brand you want to choose. I do Expel paint protection film, which is like the clear plastic, and that actually is much thicker than most wraps are. Now, I have the Expel paint protection film. I did it on the Supra. I have it on the S209 currently, and I have pretty much zero complaints about it. I've had Velocity Motor Cars in Nashville, Tennessee do that for me, and while it does cost a good amount of money, on the S209 I did mirrors forward, so everything here, mirrors, and then I did the carbon roof and the carbon spoiler. That cost me just over $2,000 to do all that, but the work is warranted, so when the wide body kit started creeping up on the paint protection film, they went ahead and did an entire new panel free of charge because they believe in their work 100%. All right, so, you know, why did I not do that on this car? Well, honestly, you know, Subaru Blue, World Rally Blue is traditional, whereas I feel like the best Charger color, the best Challenger color, Charger color was Destroyer Gray. So I wanted to mimic that and just take it and just go a little bit better with that satin aspect too, because I like this for filming, especially because if I go right up to this, you guys can see my shadow, but you can't see me like if I'm doing this. With regular gloss paint, you can see, or even a wrap, you can see whatever is right there and it reflects. So this allows me to be a little bit more of an aggressive camera person with my GoPros, because I'm straight up rookie status with my camera work. But I am happy that the entire car is protected with a physical layer of that 3M 2080 wrap. Now pricing for wraps, let's go ahead and talk pricing. So if you pay for the material yourself, you really just need your time, the material cost, and then, you know, your squeegees, your spray bottles, and all the other little wrap stuff, some knifeless tape, obviously, if you want to do it right, and then just a bunch of your time and, you know, a climate controlled garage to go ahead and wrap this thing. Now, the next level of wraps would be someone who you can have do it, but they're not going to take your car apart. They're not going to get the nooks and crannies. They're not going to do what I would consider more of a professional job. So they're kind of like a semi-pro, you know, maybe a side hustle kind of person that's just starting up their wrap business. Now, that should only cost you materials plus maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 grand, maybe, but like, if they're not gonna really go the full 9 yards, don't pay them, don't overpay them is what I'm saying. Now, what I went with, which is not the absolute epitome of wraps, but it is kind of the sweet spot in my opinion, is I have the shop down here, that's a wrap. They have their own shop. All they do is wraps and detail work, but he's not so big that he has all the overhead fees of a massive shop that has 20 bays and 79 employees and all that. It's just him, a couple of employees, and, you know, some good work. So I was basically able to pay materials plus about 2,500 to 3 grand for this job, rather than paying 5, 6, 7, 8 grand, however much you want to pay for a big name shop to do your wrap. You may be well into the 5 to 10, even 10 grand for how crazy you want to get. I mean, maybe they'll go ahead and just shellac your whole car. They wrap under your hood and maybe even like this part of the door sill right here. But at some point you gotta, you know, save some money. So I think I hit it on the head as far as kind of the happy medium. The car looks great from far away. It looks great close up. We're gonna touch up the little spots that need it, and then we are going to be good to go. All right, so we talked about pretty much all aspects of that. We talked about the color of your car. We talked about what wrap I went with. We talked about some pricing. Now, the last little thing I want to leave you guys with is basically a very specific thing to Dodge. I mean, Chevy and Ford kind of do it too, but it's about getting your car with the blacked out hood, roof, and trunk and spoiler from the factory. Now, Dodge, for the Charger, charges $3,500 to get all 3 painted black from the factory. Now, I think it looks amazing, as we've talked about many times on the channel. However, instead of me paying for that, paying $3,500 just to have 3 panels painted, you know, professionally by Dodge from the factory, so it looks good, I used that money and even saved a little bit to go ahead and have the wrap done. And not only do I have the color scheme that I want with the roof and the trunk done, but I also have the entire car paint protected in the exact color I want, which I could not get from the factory. Because as you guys know, they got rid of Destroyer Gray at the end of the 2019 model year. Now they have Smoke Show, but honestly, I just think Destroyer Gray was such a 10 out of 10 color that I couldn't bring myself to get Smoke Show, even though I think Smoke Show is one of the best colors for Chargers and Challengers, especially in the wide body. The smoke show looks very good. So we are left here with our tinted, wrapped in 2 different colors, Charger Hellcat wide body red eye. About 10% of the work is yet to be done. Badges, mud flaps, and just getting all the little nicks and corners and everything to sit down real nice. Maybe filling in some tiny little gaps to hide that white just a little bit more, because white is such a tricky color to wrap a dark wrap on a white car. With that being said, you guys can expect some videos from me on the upcoming suspension, wheels, and tire modifications coming for the car. Most of it centers around the rear side of the house, but we are going to give the front a little bit of attention. Right now we're just rocking the all-season Pirellis, which are not good for hooking up, not good for putting down the best times, but they have been good with the crazy rain we've been having and with some of the miles I'm putting on the car. All right guys, thanks for tuning into the video. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram. Got to talk today. Instagram has all the behind the scenes, the back end work with the C8 taken apart, with the wide body taken apart, where you guys can see what the car actually looks like. I hope you guys like the wrap. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I know a lot of you guys are big fans of black hoods, black roofs, black trunks, so I think you guys will be happy on that. But let me know what you guys think about the actual color, because you know, a lot of wrap shops, a lot of people are saying I should have went flashier, should have went crazier. But you know, everyone and their mom has a crazy wrap on their Charger these days, so I figured I'd go subtle, keep it chill, just like the channel, you know what I'm saying? So appreciate you guys tuning in. So last thing, if you're looking to support local tuners, mechanics, blue collar workers, and small businesses that create the parts, the performance parts, and all the other parts for our cars, all the proceeds from the sales of this line of shirts, the Defund the EPA shirts, is going to those. So all the money that comes in, I'm just dishing right back into those businesses to keep those guys afloat during this very tough time to be in the aftermarket automotive community. I believe we can get through this all together, but it takes all of us doing our part, you know, spreading the word, you know, getting the word out there, starting conversations with people who do not know what is going on. You know, tell your family, tell your friends who are not in the car community, so that we can save our race cars and save our street cars. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys for the next video.